Welcome to Pulp Trump Fiction Stories presents Little Piggy Let Me In, Chapter 1. Chapter 1. The Offense of Exclusion. Donald Trump did not hear about the club. He inferred it. Inference was how important things revealed themselves to important people. Invitations were for weddings. Announcements were for products. True exclusivity announced itself by omission, by the careful absence of acknowledgement. You felt it before you named it. A pressure change, a pause that lingered too long, a joke told quietly between people who assumed you already knew the punchline. Trump felt it everywhere now. It began as a background irritation, like a mosquito you couldn't see but you knew was in the room. Then it sharpened. A delay in applause, a cabinet member checking a phone and smiling at something Trump wasn't holding, a donor laughing half a beat late as if remembering he was supposed to be laughing now. Trump paced the residence with his phone in hand, refreshing feeds that had long since been saturated with him. The mirrors still worked, the screens still worked, the numbers still worked, and yet something was happening without asking permission. That, more than anything, was intolerable. "Stephen," Trump said suddenly, stopping mid-pace. Stephen Miller, who had been standing nearby in a posture that suggested both attention and menace, straightened. "Yes, sir." "People are acting weird," Trump said. "Elite weird. You notice that?" Stephen nodded immediately. "Absolutely. There's a tone shift." "What kind of tone?" Stephen considered this for a fraction of a second too long. "A gated one." Trump smiled. "Exactly." Susie Wiles appeared at the edge of the room, clipboard in her hand, her expression set permanently to triage. "We're still polling well," she said, as if responding to something no one had asked. "I know," Trump replied. "That's not the point." Stephen leaned forward. "There's chatter," he said. "Hard to track, off-platform, people talking around things instead of about them." Trump felt a small thrill. Around things meant center. Center meant power. "There's a club," Trump said. He didn't say it loudly. He said it as a fact. Susie blinked. "A club?" "Not a golf club," Trump snapped. "A real club. Status. Maximization. Endgame stuff." Stephen nodded vigorously. "That tracks." "Of course it tracks," Trump said. "I've been tracking it my whole life. You don't get to where I am without understanding points." That word, points, hung in the air. Trump had always understood points. Points were the hidden math of civilization. Ratings were points. Crowd size was points. Buildings were points you could walk into. Even insults, when deployed correctly, generated points, especially forced compliments. Those were premium. He'd learned that early. Praise extracted under pressure had more value than praise given freely. Anyone could clap. Not everyone could be made to clap. "I think I already know the system," Trump continued. "I just didn't realize it was formalized." Stephen smiled the thin smile of a man who believes structure itself was a moral good. "Most people don't realize systems are formal until they're excluded from them." Susie frowned. "We haven't been excluded from anything." Trump waved her off. "Not officially. That's how you know it's real." And that was clue number 1. The clues started accumulating. Trump cataloged them unconsciously at first, then with increasing intention. Invitations that arrived without enthusiasm, phone calls that ended without asks, people who used to orbit now behaving as if they had another sun. At a dinner with donors later that night, expensive, controlled, reassuring, Trump watched carefully. Compliments still came, but some were overperformed, like actors afraid of missing a cue. Others were quieter, more efficient, exchanged between guests who seemed to know something Trump didn't. Someone mentioned a name Trump didn't recognize. It was said softly, quickly, as if testing the room. Trump leaned forward. "Who's that?" A brief silence, then laughter. "Oh, no one important. Too fast. Definitely too fast." Trump smiled. "If they're not important, why are you whispering?" More laughter, this time louder, forced, delicious. That was clue number 2. Later, as the evening wound down and the guests dispersed, Trump stood alone near the edge of the room, watching reflections ripple across polished surfaces. He felt certain now. The club wasn't hypothetical. It wasn't metaphorical. It was operational. And it was counting. "You're circling it," a woman said casually, appearing beside him as if she'd been part of the conversation all along. Trump didn't startle. He rarely did. "Circling what?" "The thing that you don't want to ask directly," she replied. Stephen stiffened. Susie glanced over, annoyed at an unfamiliar variable. Trump studied the woman. She was difficult to describe in a way that stuck. Not forgettable, just unanchored. She looked like she belonged everywhere without belonging anywhere. "I don't ask directly," Trump said. "I confirm." She smiled. "That's efficient." "Who are you?" Susie asked sharply. The woman turned to her. "Somebody who notices balance." Stephen frowned. "Balance is overrated." "Only when you're winning," the woman replied pleasantly. Trump felt a flicker of satisfaction. This woman spoke his language, even when she wasn't agreeing. "There's a club," Trump said again, this time as a statement seeking reflection. The woman nodded as if he had commented on the weather. "There are always clubs." "This one's different," Trump said. "This is final tier, ultimate status, end of the line exclusivity." "And you're not inside," she said. "Not officially," Trump corrected. "Which means I'm being tested." Stephen leaned in. "We've noticed patterns," he said. "Escalation triggers, threshold behaviors." Susie crossed her arms. "Or you're overinterpreting normal fluctuations." Trump ignored her. "Points," he said to the woman. "Everything runs on points." She considered him. "Points are useful," she said. "But they're contextual." And Trump laughed. "Points are points." She didn't disagree. She simply let the silence do something. That was clue number 3. Over the next few days, Trump's conviction hardened. The more he looked, the more he saw signs. A canceled appearance framed as a scheduling issue, a glowing article that focused just slightly too much on someone else, a delay in a call he expected to be immediate. Each absence confirmed presence. Each omission confirmed structure. He began narrating the system aloud, mostly to Stephen, who listened with devotional intensity. "They reward boldness," Trump said one morning. "They reward scale. You don't get points for subtlety." Stephen nodded. "Subtlety is a holding pattern." "They punish waiting," Trump continued. "Waiting," he said, "is for people who think permission matters." Susie sighed. "Sometimes waiting is a strategy." Trump turned to her. "Waiting is for people who tell themselves when they don't have leverage." Waiting is what people tell themselves when they don't have leverage. That was clue number 4. Susie didn't see it yet, which meant it was deeper than management. The woman appeared intermittently during briefings, at dinners, once in a hallway where no one else seemed to notice her. She never contradicted Trump. She never corrected him. She simply confirmed that the shape of what he sensed was real, even when his interpretation bent strangely around his own reflection. "You already know how to score," she said once, as Trump outlined a plan that involved spectacle, pressure, and maximal visibility. "I've been scoring my whole life," he replied. "Yes," she said, "just not always for the reasons you think." Trump heard validation. Stephen heard prophecy. Susie heard nothing useful at all. That was clue number 5. Alignment without agreement. By the end of the week, Trump no longer questioned the club's existence. He spoke of it as one spoke of gravity, inescapable, structuring, obvious to anyone who mattered. "They don't announce it," he told Stephen, "because announcement would dilute it." "And the path?" Stephen asked. Trump smiled. "There's always a VIP path." The woman, standing just close enough to be heard, added softly, "VIP paths reveal more than they reward." Trump waved her off, already moving. "That's fine. I reveal very well." He felt energized now, purposeful. The offense of exclusion had transformed into a quest. He would follow the clues. He would maximize points. He would do what he had always done, assume the system existed for him, and move accordingly. He did not notice the way the woman drifted out of the room, her expression unreadable, as if watching a familiar quotation begin to solve itself. As if watching a familiar equation begin to solve itself. Somewhere beyond polling and mirrors and metrics, a ledger opened, not with judgment, not with condemnation, but with quiet precision. Subject believes he knows the point system. Subject is often wrong. Subject is frequently right for the wrong reason. Begin recording. End of Little Piggy, Let Me In, Chapter 1. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum.